Did you ever go up against the F-111? I'm guessing probably chasing them down the North Sea at some point.
Yes, yes. Um, Principally on an exercise. Oh, let's get this right. I think it was called Exercise Salty Hammer,
Right.
and it was basically an exercise designed to try and swamp the United Kingdom air defence ground environment, i.e., the
Mm.
fighter controllers as they were known then. Try and swamp the radars with a mass raid and see how long we could deal with it in terms of the caps and engagements. And in those days, we had, yeah, well, certainly I remember in the Phantom days, so we're talking late 87s, we had Lake and Heath F-111s, Upper Hayford 111s. Um, they had started to disappear by the time the F3 came along.
Yeah.
But the one stat that I do like to, what I do admit to, is probably the F-111 was probably the only jet that could outrun the F3 at low level because it was fast. So
Hmm.
again, you had to get it right. And what we say in the term reattack, i.e., you've taken a head sector shot, you break out, and you want to turn in behind, was extreme an F-111 at low level running fast. Basically, you would get about 90, 120 degrees into the turn. Um, you would have to get a missile engagement solution there because very quickly, once you're in the stern, it was opening on you and the chance was gone unless you were in really tight. So it was
Mm.
quite difficult. Big cross section in the head sector, so not super maneuverable. We would have high expectations of getting head sector shots away. And if they didn't do anything about it, that would be it, game over. Very unlikely to turn in behind them and chase them, particularly over the water where they were not speed limited. So,
Mm.
two different kind of challenges there.
Yeah, I have to ask. Like, did you ever formate on an F-111? Like, both you wings back. Like, oh, that would be an amazing photo.
Uh, yeah, but we were on the same side. The occasion I can remember, it was part of the tactical leadership program. And for some reason, the Mud, or the bomber package leader, wanted his fighters in what we call embedded escort, which means we were virtually in close formation with this long bomber stream. We were sitting visually,
Right.
not sitting really tight, but you're within 400 or 500 meters, and be able to look across. And we were. It's great for the bombers because they can see fighters and have a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling that they've got protection. It's very constricting for the fighters in terms of their tactical flexibility because we're allowing the enemy fighters to come a lot closer to the bomber stream before we go and do something about it. Whereas we would far prefer to be in detached escort, which is much further forward, or sweep, which is an independent formation clearing the way for the bomber stream to come through. Now, the bombers, of course, are then much more dependent on us coordinating with them. So, to go back, there was a particular mission, and we're going through Belgium, south in northern France, just to the south of Paris, where I was in virtually close formation with an F-111. Not supersonic, but we were tanking along over the French countryside. And it does look good. But that's
Yeah.
all it is. Tactically, it's rubbish as far as we're concerned. But
Yeah.
it does look good.
Yeah, exactly. And one last question here from a viewer. You are the high-timed F3 pilot, but if you could change, would you fly the F-15C?
Um, I'll be perfectly honest. I One of my regrets professionally is I didn't get an exchange tour, and I would love to have had an exchange tour on the F-15C to be able to fly it. Uh, would I have gone as far to say RAF have the F-15C and never have the Tornado F3? That's a long-standing argument, and I've been on both sides. Uh,
Mhm.
Never having had, I've had 1 hour in an F-15D, and I did enjoy it. Would I like? Difficult to say with all 100% honesty. Yes, I would take the F-15C as a career. in the RAF over the F3. A lot of a lot of arguments to say that would have been the best road. There's a lot of arguments, most of them political, why
Yeah.
we wouldn't have done that. Um, Difficult one. It was a tremendous platform. Still is a tremendous platform. I dearly would love to have flown it for more than, well, I haven't flown a C, but flown more than an hour in an F-15D. Um, yeah, very, very capable platform. That difficult question. That difficult.
Went up in the F-15D. Obviously, you sent me that photo as well. How does that come about? Do you just say, like, can I have a trip, or do they invite you?
It was out in a Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho. I was on the operational evaluation unit at the time, and it was a time when data link was coming in, and we needed to do an interoperability trial with different platforms. And at that time, the only other platforms, honestly, were ones in the United States. So we went out. We took two of our jets. We took two 5 squadron jet and aircrew because they had just received data link. We had an E3 from Waddington, which obviously data link equipped, and we were going to link up with the F-15s at Mountain Home, which had just been equipped with data link. We also took the opportunity to bring VF2 up from Miramar with their Tomcats. So this was
Nice.
1994, I think.
Yeah.
So they came up with their Tomcats and an E3, sorry, an E2, which was their data link platform. And basically, we ran a whole series of exercises. Yes, there was engagement, so we get some training out of it. But the primary thing was to see how the Link 16 picture, the data
Mhm.
link picture, worked, and if we could exchange information between different platforms to investigate this interoperability. So this all happened out at Mountain Home, and we were out there for, I think it was about a fortnight or maybe 3 weeks. And with all this flying going on, very quickly they were talking about putting people in the back seats so they could see the different displays, and that's how I got into an F-15D, which was good fun.
You almost got a backseat ride in an F-14, but your boss took it or something like that.
That's it. Yep, exactly that. And he was there. He had done a tour, an exchange tour on the
Yeah.
F-14, and that was his ticket. He says, "Well, I'm familiar with the back cockpit. You don't have to give me much training." Blah blah. Blah. And he blagged it, and I thought, okay, right, well, that's life. That's life. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't know if
All
I
right.
mentioned before the other one that came out of that detachment, another oops that definitely would have got me Spank the Monkey if Spank the Monkey was at Mount, was when I was doing, again, trickery and subterfuge, which is the armory of the F3. I discovered this canyon in the operating area, and the operating area was about 3,000 feet above sea level, but dead flat, billiard table. And in this particular section, there was a canyon that was, I don't know, about 1,000 feet deep. And I discovered I could go down into it and basically hide below the operating table. So I could hide visually and radar wise from the opposition. And I thought this was brilliant. Well, I say we, my nav and I thought this was brilliant. And we went up and down this, and then, of course, we'd pop up from nowhere, take some shots, and disappear again. And that was all great until we got back to the debrief, and I started to describe what my tactics were, and I could see some horrified faces on the Americans looking at me. They went, "You went where? You did what?" And I said, "Yeah, this canyon here." I went down it. That was the Duck Valley Indian Reservation, which is an absolute no go for military aircraft.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, I was not replying, and actually I never went any further. But I wondered why nobody else was doing this, and the reason is, don't go there. You're going to upset the Native Americans. We didn't get anything back from them because it just happened the once. But that was me thinking I was being brilliant, and I'm afraid I was being a bit of a buffoon.
Did you
There we
get
go.
a bollocking?
No, it was just the words. Don't do it again. And I'm going. No, okay,
Right.
sorry. Yes, I understand. Yeah, that was
Well,
it.
brilliant stuff.